everyone, it's your girl Felicia. Hi Felicia. You probably wonder what is that across her head. These are some donut ears, and today I will be making some homemade glazed donuts. Delicious. And not only is this donut recipe is delicious, it's a simple recipe and it's easy to be followed. And I'm going to share this recipe with you, and I know that it will be one that you and your family would truly enjoy. With no delays, let's get to it. These are the ingredients for the dough and for the glaze. For your dough, we're going to use some unbleached bread flour. You don't have to have a particular brand, but make sure you have bread flour. Also, some salt, eggs, fast-acting yeast. Make sure it's fast-acting. You only need 1 pack. 8 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and we're going to melt this down and make sure it's cooled before we use it. Also, we're going to have some sugar, granulated sugar, and some canola oil for frying, and milk, whole milk. Make sure it's whole milk. And for the glaze, we're going to have the powdered sugar and salt and milk. It just involved for making the glaze. And as I told you, this is a simple recipe. It's easy. And I'm going to make sure I get the steps in so you can make this at home with no problem. And I will go ahead on and melt my butter down. All right, here is my butter, the 8 tablespoons that have been melted. We want this to cool down. And so when I did put it in the microwave, it was like 25 seconds, then another 25 seconds, and then 15 seconds. And that's how long it took me to get it melted. And so we're going to let that cool down before we use it. And we're going to get ready to put our milk in our bowl. 1 cup of milk and 1/4 cup. 1 1/4 cup of milk in a bowl, and we're going to put this in a microwave for 45 to 50 seconds. I let this stay in the microwave for 45 seconds. It was good enough. And if it's not, try about 5 more seconds, but no longer than 50 seconds. Now we're going to cut open this yeast, and I'm cutting over the milk so that way if anything wastes out, it's over the bowl. Like I said, this is a simple, easy recipe. I don't think it's going to take long. It's the dough rising. So I want to make sure I got all of that out. And we're going to give it a gentle stir. And we're going to let this sit for 5 minutes. Okay, let's get ready to put this together. So we got our yeast mixture, and we want to pour this in our stand mixer. Put that in. Make sure I got that all out. And we're going to put in our butter, our cool butter. Remember that it's 8 tablespoons melted and cooled down. And we're going to add in our sugar, 1/4 cup, granulated sugar. And we're going to add in our 2 eggs. And I'm going to make sure I just bust those little eggs open. 2 large eggs. 1 teaspoon of salt. That's table salt that I'm using. And we're going to add in our hook attachment. Add this on here. And we're just going to mix this together till it's combined. So that should be it. And then we're gonna add in, we have 4 1/4 cup of that bread flour, but we're gonna add half of it in first. Then we'll add the first half in, and this just says 2 cups. Divide it in half. I'm gonna do the 2 cups first, and then I'm gonna do the 2 1/4 cups. And we're gonna mix this until it's combined. So I'm gonna turn this off for a minute, and you want to scrape the sides down. And I'm gonna start this back up, and we'll be back to add the rest of it in. This is how it's looking after I had put half of the flour in. That was 2 cups, and I'm going to add the rest in, the 2 1/4 cup. So altogether that's 4 1/4 cup of bread flour. And we're going to mix this until it's combined. Okay, this is almost finished. And anytime you need to scrape the side of the bowl, go ahead and do it. But we got our last part in it. And if this dough is like sticky, add just a little bit more flour to it. So this is okay. It's pulling apart from the bowl pretty good. So I don't need to add any more flour at this time. We're gonna take this off. I'm trying to rush the process, but this is like this. We're gonna take this off, and we're gonna cover this. We're gonna take a towel, and we're gonna cover this bowl, and we're gonna let this rise for about 1 hour. But put it in a warm place. Some people may put it in their microwave. Some people may put it in their may have a warm spot for it, or they may put it in the oven. But find a warm place to put it in. So I got a clean kitchen towel, and I'm gonna cover this up like this, and I'm going to put it in a warm place for 1 hour and let it rise. While we are waiting for the dough to rise, we could go ahead and make our glaze. So we're going to take our powdered sugar. That's 4 cups. And we're going to take I was going to pour my milk on that first, but a pinch of salt, and we're going to use a 1/2 cup of whole milk. Now we're going to cover it with some aluminum foil. And we're going to set this aside until we get ready to glaze our donuts. It's been a little over an hour, maybe an hour and 10 to 15 minutes. And my dough has rise, double its size. And we're going to get ready to take this out. But before we take it out, you want to flour your surface well. And I'm going to use some parchment paper because it did me pretty good. So I had to worry about anything sticking. So I'm just going to lightly flour the surface. And I'm going to take Watch this. See? And I'm gonna pull this out. Pat this down a little. And I'm gonna put a little flour on top. And I'll put some also on my rolling pin. And when you be using flour, it can make a mess, I'm telling you. And we're gonna roll this out to like 1/2 inch thick. Some people try to roll it by 13 by 10. But if you don't, it's not too bad. But you don't want to have it too thin. I never made any square donuts. So I'm going to use this. And this is what I normally use. And I'm going to put a little flour around here. So I'm going to make sure I press down. This already going to make the donut whole. And I'm just going to turn it just a little so I can get a clean cut. And then I got a little small one to make the donut hole. It came with this, when I bought this came together. And it had a little extra gift in there, like you want to make just like the little small donut holes. And so this gonna go in the middle of the square. Then I'm gonna make some little extra little donut holes. And next we want to lay this on some parchment paper. I got my pan ready. Got my pan. And I'm gonna transfer this over. And in case they lose a little shape, and this thing didn't cut out the donuts too well, and I'm gonna put them over here. And you do not want them close together. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because they gotta rise some more. And so we're gonna gather up our remaining dough, and we're going to use this dough again. So when I get ready to use this dough right here, you don't want to put too much work into the dough. So I'm just going to gently put this together, and we're just going to fold it under. Keep folding it under, because you're pressing this together. I say you don't want to overwork your dough. So I'm going to put a little bit more flour on this parchment paper. And it on top. Flatten this back down. And we're going to roll this out. And we're going to repeat the process, and we're going to cut this out. All right, I am done rolling out my donuts. The donut holes. These square ones are new. Here's the other ones. And that little dough I had left, I just twisted me some up. So, and now we're going to cover this up. Cover these back up with our clean towel. And these are gonna sit, put it back in your warm spot for 45 minutes. It's been a little over 45 minutes, probably an hour, but I had got busy and I couldn't get back to my donuts. Let's pull these towels off. And they look pretty good. We're gonna get ready to fry these up. But before I fry them, what's gonna help you to fry them better, we need to cut the parchment paper. So I'm gonna move some of these little donut holes over. So it's gonna help me be able to fry them better so they can still keep their shape. So I'm not too much worried about the donut holes, which we wanted to keep its shape too. But what you're gonna do is gonna take like the parchment paper. That's why I say it's good keeping on parchment paper. And we're gonna cut around it. Move this over. So when we get ready to pick it up and put it in the oil, it'll still stay in its shape. And I'm gonna finish cutting these out, and then we're gonna get ready to fry our donuts. All right, you want your oil to get to a temperature at least up to 350 degrees. And if you do not have any way to test the temperature, like this, or any other kind of instrument, you can just heat your oil up, let it get heated for about like 12 minutes, and you should be good to go. So here's the reason why I got my parchment paper on there. I'm just gonna dip it down in here, and you don't want to put too many to overcrowd it. And make sure you use a pot that is a heavy bottom. And I'm using my Dutch oven. And I got my splattered spoon. And also I have this too. Well, it's going to help me to turn the donuts. And they will get brown pretty quick on the bottom. So if they start getting brown too quick, turn your stove down just a little. So you want to keep check on it. The donut's going to probably come out of different colors, depending on how brown you like it. So I'm going to take this one out. Set it on a pan with some paper towels in it. So these are coming out. I'm going to do some of these donut holes right quick. And it's best to move these around. Just moving around in the oil. Because they're going to turn brown quick. So, do a third of the time and get them out quick so they won't be burnt. I am done with my donuts. Here they are. Sitting right there. They look pretty good. Make sure you have your little cooking sheet with some paper towel down. These are delicious. And I'm going to let these cool off some. And then we're going to get ready to dip them in that glaze that we already had sitting aside. Okay, you want your donuts to cool for at least about 5 to 10 minutes. You want them still a little warm so that way the glaze can sort of stick to the donuts pretty good. But you don't want it steaming hot. And so I did have to thicken up my glaze up a little bit more. So now let's get ready to dump these in the glaze. So if you don't have like to turn it, these are some skewers, and you can flip it over like that. And just make sure some of that glaze just fall off. And then you want to have like a pan ready with a little rack right here, and I just put it right there. You can line it up with some paper towels if you want to, and just lay your donut down. And if you don't have any skewers, you can use forks. So we're gonna put this in there, and we're gonna use the little small ends of the fork. Flip that over. Stick that fork in that hole. And let the excess glaze fall off. And put it over to the side. And for the donut holes, we're gonna drop some in there. And we're gonna just wipe this end off right here, just to show you. Move that around. And you just take it out with the fork. Just dip that over there. I am done glazing my donuts. Here how they look. These on the end right here, I had some extra glaze left, so I didn't want to waste it, so I just poured more on top. And these over here, that's the rest of them. And like I said, I did make my glaze a little bit more thicker, and I had double dipped these. These donuts has been double dipped, except for these over here, because when I got ready to do these, I made the glaze a little bit more thicker. So now you gotta let these just go ahead on and set before you start moving them. Put them in a air. You want to make sure you put it in a airtight container if you want them to stay fresh, or you have a cake saver. You can put them in there, because I had the last I did mine, so I put them in the cake saver, and I line them with parchment paper. And if you want to freeze these, make sure that it's airtight. If you want to freeze them, if you're not going to eat all your donuts, and it's best you do freeze them when they don't have any glaze on it, if you want to. And so that way you can go back and make glaze on it. But you can put these in the freezer. All right, you probably want to know how the inside of the donut look. They're not all the way dry yet, but let's just break one open so you can see the texture of it. That is a good donut, and you're gonna enjoy it. These delicious donuts are done. And here's a great tip. To make your donuts be extra fresh and last a little longer, add you about 1 or 2 slices of bread when you're putting your donuts in your airtight container. And if you'd like to have this delicious recipe, just look down below in the description box. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and anytime that I might stream live or upload video, just hit that notification bell. And as always, have a blessed and wonderful day. This your girl Felicia. Bye.